Good afternoon. This is Dave Nadler with the National Weather Service in Peachtree City, Atlanta. With today's weather briefing for north and central Georgia, it is about 12 o'clock noon on Wednesday, January 11th, and our focus will be on this next storm system that is expected to impact the area sometime tomorrow into tomorrow evening. So here are the main highlights. High confidence that a strong cold front will move across the area tomorrow afternoon, Thursday afternoon into the evening hours, sending a line of potentially strong to severe storms across all of north and central Georgia during the afternoon and evening hours tomorrow. We'll get into some of those specifics here in just a minute. Primary storm threats, damaging winds are going to be the main threat, but we can't rule out a few brief tornadoes embedded within the line. And this is going to be a quick shot, but locally heavy rain within the main line of storms could result in brief flooding or flash flooding, especially in poor drainage areas near creeks and small streams and urban areas as well. Following this storm system, we do expect a brief return to winter, more seasonal temperatures for early to mid-January, beginning Friday and continuing through the weekend. A current look at the conditions. We got some increasing clouds across the southeast region, but basically the storm system that is expected to impact the area late tomorrow into tomorrow evening is still gathering some strength over parts of southeast Colorado, northeast New Mexico, the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas, and over the next 24 to 36 hours, this storm system will track east and then eventually northeast across the mid-Mississippi Valley and then the Ohio Valley towards the eastern Great Lakes. As that happens, it will send the cold front across the area late tomorrow into tomorrow evening, and that's what will trigger the potential for strong to severe storms across the area. So here it is. This is a snapshot around 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, between 11 and noon. Timing has increased just a little bit, or as quick. The storm system has sped up just a little bit, but keep in mind that the timing here is subject to change, give or take an hour, as we head through tonight into tomorrow morning as the system continues to evolve out to our west and develop. But generally speaking, we feel pretty good that by about 11 o'clock in the morning, noonish, the main line of storms, which will carry with it the potential for strong to damaging winds and maybe a brief tornado, will be approaching northwest Georgia during this time. So wanted to show that, and then also fast forwarding several hours later, by about 2 to 3 o'clock, this is what roughly the radar will be looking at. Again, the main line of precipitation that you see will carry the threat for damaging winds and maybe a brief tornado, locally heavy rain, of course, too. We'll start to have to watch across parts of central Georgia out ahead of the main line. A few storms could pop up in the more unstable air mass where we could see an isolated strong to severe storm capable of producing damaging winds and even a brief tornado as well in that area. So between about 2 o'clock and then 5 o'clock or 5 or 6 o'clock tomorrow afternoon and early evening, we'll have to watch not only the line itself, but some cells that start to develop out ahead of it across parts of southeast portions of our area, basically south and east of like a Macon to Sandersville line during the afternoon hours. So again, with the main line itself, damaging winds are the primary threat. Could see a brief tornado spin up within the line, and then locally heavy rain for about 1 to 2 hours. And then behind the line, the severe threat will end quickly. Still could see a few showers, but cooler and drier air will start to filter into the area behind the line late tomorrow afternoon into the evening, basically from northwest to southeast. And then by 8 o'clock tomorrow evening, this is what we're projecting. The main severe weather threat should just be about exiting the far southeast counties, from basically Telfair, Wheeler, Montgomery, Toombs, Emmanuel County in our far southeast forecast area. The severe threat will be sort of moving through, and then eventually by 9 or 10 o'clock in the evening, the entire area should be clear of any severe threat, which is good news. Here's the latest from the Storm Prediction Center. Don't anticipate this changing too much through the night and into the day tomorrow. This is their day 2 outlook, but just about the entire area is under a slight risk to basically see pockets of strong to damaging winds over 60 miles per hour. The impacts there being, of course, some downed trees and power lines. Can't rule out a brief tornado, especially within the main line itself, and then even out ahead of it during the afternoon hours across parts of east central and central Georgia, and of course the localized flooding. We're not expecting any widespread flooding, but definitely pockets of some heavier rain could result in some localized flooding across the area during the afternoon and evening hours. Here's the timing of severe weather based on what we're seeing today. Basically between about 12 noon and 3 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow, in that dark blue shaded area across parts of northwest and north central Georgia, is where we expect the primary risk for severe weather to occur. And then as it basically moves across the area to the south and east between about 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the afternoon, early evening hours for parts of metro Atlanta, basically extending down south toward LaGrange, Columbus, the northern parts of Macon and Eatonton areas. This is where we expect the window of severe weather to occur. And then as you head farther to the south and east after 4 o'clock through about 9 or 10 o'clock, being probably a little conservative there, is where we expect that severe risk to exist for the rest of the area across parts of middle Georgia, from about Americus to Dublin, Louisville, parts down to McRae, Vidalia. That's where we anticipate the risk of severe weather to occur in that time frame. Again, primary storm threats, damaging winds, but brief tornadoes are possible. The difference between this event and what we saw last week is that this is going to be a pretty quick shot, and the air mass is not as unstable, but there's a pretty good amount of wind energy aloft that could transfer down and result in those damaging winds. So we definitely want to take this pretty seriously, even though it's going to be a quick shot moving across the area during the afternoon and evening hours tomorrow. Rainfall, we generally expect in the darker green about a ½ inch to an inch, but in pockets of in those yellow shaded areas, we could see over an inch in about a 3 to 4 hour window. So a lot of this rain is going to occur in a fairly short period of time during the afternoon and evening hours tomorrow. Again, we're not expecting widespread flooding to occur at all, but localized isolated areas of flooding or flash flooding could occur, especially in the higher elevations of North Georgia or any parts of the urban areas of metro Atlanta. But generally speaking, we think the rain is not going to be a big significant impact at this point. Now behind the front, Friday, late Thursday night into Friday, colder air comes in quickly. We still have some lingering moisture with the upper level system, so we could see some snow showers across the higher elevations of North Georgia as we go through Friday, and some of it could accumulate above 2,000 feet. We're not expecting any widespread impacts, but certainly could be a dusting to maybe a ½ inch of snow at times across the higher elevations on Friday. Temperatures for highs will struggle to get out of the upper 30s and 40s with that strong northwest winds could be contributing to lower wind chills on Friday as well. So definitely something to watch in parts of far north Georgia, but we're not expecting any widespread lingering impacts with the snow. But as we head into Friday night, temperatures will fall below freezing, so there could be a few slick spots in the far northern Georgia areas, especially the higher elevations as we head through Friday night into early Saturday. But as you can see by highs on Saturday, we are expecting temperatures to rebound back into the 40s and 50s across the area, and then chill back down into the 20s and 30s on Saturday night into Sunday morning. So a return to winter, a return to more seasonal conditions for this time of year, but based off of what we've been seeing over the last week or so, it's going to feel a little bit colder than, of course, what we've been experiencing. So once again, just to summarize everything in this briefing, the main concern is that cold front moving through tomorrow, bringing a threat of strong to severe storms across all of the area tomorrow afternoon into the evening, with the primary storm threats being damaging winds greater than 60 miles per hour. Certainly can bring down a few trees and power lines, something to watch across the entire area. In addition, we could see a few tornadoes spin up along the line and even out ahead of the line tomorrow afternoon and evening across parts of east central and southeast Georgia. Locally heavy rain could result in some brief flooding or flash flooding in mainly poor drainage or urban areas. But again, we're not expecting the heavy rain or the flooding to be a real a big concern at this point. And then following the front and the storm system moving east of the area, late Thursday night into Friday, we'll see a brief return to winter-like conditions, mainly with the temperatures, with the threat of a few snow showers in the higher elevations of North Georgia on Friday into Friday evening. But again, that's not going to be a widespread, major, significant issue at this point. Here are some different ways you can contact us. And again, we'll probably send out an update via email to everybody overnight tonight into the morning hours. But we don't expect any major changes to what we're briefing at this point. But we thank you for joining us this afternoon. Hope you stay safe out there and have a good rest of the day.